As a small business owner, my favorite thing about posting a job on LinkedIn is that when I hit post, I clock out and LinkedIn clocks in.
LinkedIn makes it easy to post your job for free, get qualified candidates, and manage them all in one place. Plus, LinkedIn extends the reach of your job post by allowing you to share it with your network. And hiring managers that add a hiring frame to their LinkedIn profiles receive 2 times more qualified applicants. Go to linkedin.com/achieve to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
You know what's smart? Enjoying a fresh gourmet meal at home that you didn't have to cook. Meet Factor, your loophole in the laws of mealtime. Chef-crafted meals delivered with a tap, ready in just 2 minutes. You know what's even smarter? Treating yourself without cheating your goals. Factor is dietitian approved, chef prepared, and you plated. Pretty smart, huh? Refresh your routine and eat smart with Factor. Learn more at factormeals.com.
I didn't actually knock the machine over. The machine got pulled over by the cords when I moved one machine.
Well, then don't move it if you see that there are cords. How about not moving it and saying, I'm not touching this. This place is a mess. Look at all these cords. Why don't you just do that?
Because that's not safe for my patients. I have to do that safety check on every machine I use.
I'm not saying don't do the safety check.
This is the plaintiff, Mark Schneider. He says he's a plastic surgeon and hired the defendant, an anesthesiologist, to provide anesthetics to his patients for a day of surgeries. She was very careless in the operation room and knocked over his electrocautery machine, a machine that stops bleeding during procedures. He had to go out and buy a new one. She refuses to reimburse him the $1,908 he had to spend. So he's suing her here and now. This is the defendant, Kimberly Nottingham. She says the plaintiff is not the nicest man in the world to work for, and his operating room was in disarray and had cords all over the floor. Yes, his machine got knocked over because of the mess on the floor, and she doesn't think she should be responsible for replacing it because she's just a subcontractor, and the machine tipping over wasn't her fault. She's accused of being clumsy.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Millian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated, come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome,
Mark Schneider in the Schneider Center for Plastic Surgery. You are suing Kimberly Nottingham and KSN Anesthesia Services for $1,908, the cost of a machine that she broke when you hired her, I guess, for the day to cover for someone?
Correct.
So she comes to your office, and what happens?
She was preparing for the day in the operating room, knocked over a piece of equipment. Our nurse who was there identified that it was knocked over. They both righted the machine, tested the machine.
But did you hear it being knocked over?
I was not there at the time.
Okay.
But the nurse was, and she has a statement that says that this occurred. Okay. Kim readily admitted that she knocked over the machine. To me.
Did she say how it happened?
She didn't say how it happened, no.
Okay.
The machine did not function. We need it for surgery. We spent about 2 hours trying to find a replacement machine, which we did.
What time was your first surgery going to be?
8 o'clock.
In the morning?
Correct.
So what time did this happen?
This happened prior to that, probably around, I received notification about this around 7:30 in the morning, prior to my getting to the office.
So all of the surgeries got delayed by whatever number of hours it took to get a replacement machine loaned, or what?
Correct. And she did bill us for those hours waiting, but I'm not seeking retribution for that.
Okay. So the machine gets there, we do the surgeries, we're done, but now that machine doesn't work. What happened? How did it tip over?
I've been in anesthesia 28 years. Every morning I do the same routine. I check my anesthesia machine. It's a safety check. I move the machine. I check tanks that are in the back, the amount of oxygen and nitrogen, nitrous oxide that are in them.
The machine that's there, is that a machine you brought?
No,
That's
ma'am.
the
They're
machine
ones that
that's
are
there.
supplied in every
Right.
facility.
Right.
You do have to move the machine a couple inches to see behind, open the O2 tank, et cetera. When I moved my anesthesia machine, which I probably moved, I'm going to say 6 to 7 inches.
When you say your anesthesia machine, when you moved the anesthesia machine in the room,
Yes,
in
the
his
one
room.
I was using for the day.
Okay.
The cords for this electrocautery machine were caught around it, and when I moved this machine, the other machine, which was about 4 to 5 feet away from me, tipped over onto the floor.
Okay, now I have a question. How does the bottom of the anesthesia machine look like? Is it, what is it, do you have a picture of it? Do you have a picture of it?
All of them look
Oh,
the
is that a
same.
picture
I can
of it?
bring
Look
you a
at that.
picture. There's an anesthesia
There's
machine.
the anesthesia machine.
Which one?
It's at
Right-
if
right
you
in
look
front
at the
of you.
head
Can
of
I
the
see
table.
the bottom of it in this picture?
You cannot.
Okay.
No.
So you knocked the machine over. So why aren't you paying for it? Why shouldn't you have to pay for it?
Well, I didn't actually knock the machine over. The machine got pulled over by the cords when I moved one machine.
Well, then don't move it if you see that there are cords. How about not moving it and saying, I'm not touching this. This place is a mess. Look at all these cords. Why don't you just do that?
Because that's not safe for my patients. I have to do that safety check on every
Well, no,
machine
I'm not
I use.
saying don't do the safety check. I'm saying if you feel that it is not safe to do the safety check without committing $2,000 of damage, then why don't you just say, I'm going to need somebody to lift this because I'm worried about the wires. I mean, look, it's an accident. Accidents happen, but
Right.
I just don't understand what your defense is.
In 28 years, I have never seen another cord from another machine wrapped around the back of the anesthesia machine, and I did not see that until I moved it.
Let me see the affidavit from the other nurse who was in there. And by the way, you're not an employee of his either, right? You were a subcontractor for the day.
Right.
Right. Okay.
I worked with
and this
him
is all
2
about
to 3
employees anyway.
times.
But okay. I witnessed Kim Nottingham bump into the Bovie machine.
It's a brand
So
name.
according to Michelle Bierney, she witnessed you bump into the Bovie machine and turn over the machine. So she doesn't say this stuff about wires and you pulling out your machine. She says you just bumped into it and knocked it over. Was that your understanding of how it went down?
Correct.
I mean, I'm just not understanding. What is your defense?
Quite a few. Number one, I have 4 articles for you.
The 4 articles are about what?
The 4 articles are about employer-employee relationships and breakage and loss of equipment.
Let me see your articles.
4. They're highlighted.
Yeah, this is
Administration,
completely false.
And one of them is the Florida
I mean,
bylaws
I
for
cannot tell you how
employers.
legally false that is. If someone breaks your item, if you can prove negligence, then you can get them to pay for it. I don't know where.
If you can prove negligence.
Well, right. The negligence is that you pulled it without saying that the cords.
But I have
were good.
an email from Dr. Snyder stating he understands it was an accident.
Right. That's what negligence is, and it is an accident. Negligence means that you weren't careful. That's all.
Negligence or malintent means
Okay,
I
sweetheart,
had that
please
in
don't
mind
tell me
ahead of
what-
time.
I'm not going to tell you how to give anesthesia. Don't tell me what the law is.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. I love this case. Does the surgeon get money from the anesthesiologist who tripped and knocked over the equipment?
So I believe in this case it was kind of an accident. And
It was an accident. You didn't do it on purpose.
Of course, and I think it would be fair maybe to split it.
Yeah, but he didn't do anything wrong. He either gets it or he doesn't.
He doesn't.
Why?
It's his responsibility to clean up and make sure everyone's on track, so she doesn't need to pay him anything.
But there were cords in the floor, but it may be necessary for the procedure.
I feel like he should get it because, like, if he needs to have his stuff there, then, I mean, she should be able to see herself, you know.
That's a good one, isn't it?
Common sense.
This is a good one. I like this one. Going inside the courtroom.
Negligence is not malintent. Negligence is an accident that is not foisted upon you, but of your own actions. When you pull something, you knocked over another machine. Tell me how that would not be your fault.
In the 28 years I've been practicing anesthesia, there has been a lot of equipment at facilities that has been broken, either by employees, maintenance, et cetera, and according to the Florida laws, it is written off as a business expense.
You haven't shown me a Florida law that said that.
It is an email number.
Okay.
Owner must bear such costs, losses
Are you
of
an
costs of
employee
doing
of his?
business. Yes.
No.
You're not. Everything you're handing me talks about employees. Well, how much did you pay her for her services that day?
About $2,400. Let me pull
And
that up.
he had wanted to deduct the cost from that money, and then you insisted, bill me separately for the machine, which implies that you're paying for it and that you just want to get paid by him. So he pays you entirely for your wages, and which he's supposed to. And then that's it.
And I offered to pay the deductible on his insurance.
But he doesn't want to claim it on his insurance. That makes his rates go up. Why would he want to do that? You wouldn't want to do that.
So I offered to work it off or make installment payments.
Right. And maybe I would have let you do that. You know,
and he said no.
Right. And then you say, I don't understand. He has a good business. I'm a single mother. But now the case is in front of me. And I have to decide, did this subcontractor break his equipment or did this subcontractor not break his equipment? All right. Do you have a receipt for what you paid for the new one?
I do.
May I see it?
For the new used one.
The new used one.
Right. The new one cost $20,000.
Okay. I find in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of the $1,908, and I'm entering a judgment against you for that amount. I'm sorry. It may be an accident, but this is how it goes. Good luck, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So the plaintiff is awarded a judgment for the full amount. Ms. Nottingham, I'm sorry, but the judge says you got to pay. What do you think?
I don't agree with her. I respect her decision, but Florida law states that an employee, which I am actually an employee of his.
No, you're a subcontractor. There's a difference.
But I'm not. My paperwork that I signed with him says I am an employee of his surgery center.
Well, you should have insisted more on that. I don't know. Okay. But bottom line is it may not have made a difference.
Right.
I'm not sure. Who knows?
Right.
That's the judge's decision. You got to live with it, okay?
That's all right.
Sorry
Anybody
about
wants
that.
to buy 10-year-old used equipment on eBay, they can keep doing it.
Be more careful next time.
Thank you.
All right. Very good. All right. Dr. Snyder, you feel better now?
I do.
You think that she had any point there that she wasn't responsible? She's an employee? How do you answer that? Was she an employee?
She's an independent contractor. The laws in Florida are pretty clear about what defines that.
Okay.
She was careless. We both admitted that it was an accident on her part, and sometimes people have to take responsibility.
Okay. Very good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay. Harvey?
Okay, I mean, look, Doug, the plaintiff got $2,000 here, and the equipment's probably worth $20,000. But you have to look at it at the value at the time of the loss. It doesn't seem fair, and in many ways it isn't. That's the law. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
¿Dónde están los $5 millones que me robaste?
Gloria tendrá que encontrar el dinero. Su vida y la de su hijo dependen de ello.
Hay que acorralar a la viuda.
¡Tengo mucho miedo, mamá!
El peor de los caminos será el único posible.
A mí no me importa ir a la cárcel con tal de salvar a mi hijo.
En la nueva superserie de Telemundo.
Esta mujer es clave. Que empiece la cacería.
La Jefa. Lunes a viernes a las 10:09 Centro por Telemundo.
Hey, Fidelity. What's it cost to invest with the Fidelity app?
Start with as little as $1 with no account fees or trade commissions on U.S. stocks and ETFs.
That's music to my ears.
I can only talk.
Investing involves risk, including risk of loss. Zero account fees apply to retail brokerage accounts only. Sell order assessment fee not included. A limited number of ETFs are subject to a transaction-based service fee of $100. See full list at fidelity.com/commissions. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
This is the plaintiff, Kasim Stevens. He says he was hired by the defendant to work at a food stand during the Atlanta Braves games. He did a great job, but the defendant refuses to pay him. He was one of the defendant's best workers. The guy owes him for 26 days of hard work, and he's here suing for the $1,300 he's owed. This is the defendant, James Bird. He says he's the CEO of a nonprofit organization where people who have just gotten out of jail volunteer to work the home Braves games, serving food. The plaintiff showed up late. He wouldn't show up on other days, and since he was a volunteer and there was never any discussion of him being paid, he owes nothing. He's accused of striking out with a volunteer.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff was hired by the defendant to work the concession stand at the Atlanta Braves games and got stiffed. But the defendant says the plaintiff was a slacker. It's the case of Home of the Paid.
Thank you, Douglas. Kasim Stevens, you are suing James Byrd and SOAR Foundation Incorporated for $1,300 in unpaid wages. Tell me what happened.
Okay, so sometime in April, I was looking on Craigslist because I had just suffered a tragedy. So I needed something at that time to like keep me busy and keep my mind off of those type of like what had happened. So I found
Did you not have a job?
No, I didn't have a job.
Okay, so also you needed a job. Okay,
yeah,
go on.
also I needed a job.
All right, so you found?
I found an ad on Craigslist by Mr. Byrd, and
What did the ad say?
the ad said, you know, volunteer and get paid.
Volunteer and get paid?
Volunteer and get paid.
That's an odd thing to say.
It was very
Volunteer
odd.
and get paid how much?
It was, I never heard that. It was $50 a day, and
Okay.
they
So the bottom line was it was $50 a day
right
every time that you worked. All right,
every
and
time
worked
that
what?
you worked at the Braves Stadium, the new stadium in Atlanta.
Okay, and you would be working where? One of the concession stands?
Yes, we would be working the stand.
Okay. How long did you work with them?
I worked with him from May until August.
Okay, and what did you do exactly?
I had many tasks. We served hot dogs, nachos, beverages,
All the healthy foods.
beer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. According to you, in the beginning, you would get paid how?
Daily. They went over it many times. You know, you get paid
All right,
daily,
so
daily.
at some point while you're working for them, that changes.
That changed the first day.
So now moving forward, what was the new plan? How were you guys going to get paid?
The new plan was we would get paid every Monday after the homestand. See, we did the homestands at Brave Stadium.
Homestand means what? The home games?
Home games, yeah.
Okay. So how many games would you get paid for at a time sometimes?
It should have been, you know, the previous homestand, however long
many
that
there
run.
were. There could have been one, there could have been five.
Exactly.
Okay, so did you ever get paid? Okay, yeah, well, get to that part. When do you get paid finally?
Just whenever, you know, he's ready to meet up somewhere and give you the money, basically.
On the sly.
Yeah.
With no W-2, no pay, it's not pay, it's like the cash, right?
Precisely, cash.
What's going on? Like, what is this?
Yes, ma'am. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and what we do is we act as a diversion program to assist youth in making that transition, give them job development skills to be able to get that entry into the workplace.
Well, you pay them?
Yes, ma'am. We have what's known as a stipend, and as a volunteer, they receive a stipend because of the amount of work that they do actually in a concession stand. From the time the gates open.
Guy's complaining because he says you didn't pay him from when to when?
From late June until August.
How many games did he not pay you for?
26.
How many months did you work without getting paid?
I suppose, too.
Why?
I mean, I really enjoyed the environment of being in a ballpark. First of all, it seemed
You can't see the game. You can
Yeah.
just hear it.
It was just the atmosphere.
energy?
The atmosphere, yeah. So I enjoyed that. And he had been paying me, so, you know.
You just figured he'd catch up at some point?
Yeah,
Because that's just
I
how he
figured
rolled?
he'd catch up. I just thought I'd be lenient. And,
Okay,
you
so
know,
when did you finally reach out to him and tell him, what is this?
in August.
And what'd you say? How'd you do it, by text or by phone?
I did it by text.
And do you have those texts?
Yes.
Can I see them? What did he say to you about it?
I've asked several times, you know, where's the money? When am I getting paid? And yeah, I'll just.
So why didn't you pay him? While you're looking for those texts, why didn't you pay him?
Well, we did pay him. And if I may, here's the receipts for every time he received a payment from us.
Yeah, let me see that. He says he worked for you in June and August and that you didn't pay him then. Is that accurate?
No, ma'am.
Okay, do you have any receipts for June or August?
Yes, ma'am. We show, those receipts there show where he began in May. We pay everyone, it's a stipend. And when they volunteer, if I may, everyone that works and volunteers, they have to sign this form. And this is a form that clearly...
Yeah, I don't care. I know that the form says, I know I'm a volunteer,
Right.
but you don't get to not pay him if he works. I don't care about that. Because you don't get to pay him zero if he works. If you have a side deal with him that you're going to pay him X, you got to pay him X. That's the law. Where's the originals?
Start right here.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. So this purports to be his signature then, right?
Yes, ma'am.
What I
That's
said?
it.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that your signature? Take a look at it. Go ahead and show it to him, please.
Yeah, that's my
That looks like your signature? Then I think you're wrong about how many days they owe you. So they have a payment in July of $150 on July 10th. Is that your last payment to him?
Yes, ma'am. My records indicate that Mr. Stevens worked a total of 15 games. For those 15 games, he received a total of $733. The remaining pay, the amount came out to be $250. At the last payout, when I met with Mr. Stevens, I specifically asked him to make a commitment. We had a big homestand come up. I think it was the Mets coming to town. The responsibilities for Mr. Stevens was he worked on nachos. I asked him to do two things. Keep the nachos running. There's 5 bins for ice. Keep those full. That's all he had to do. I'm stuck on repeat, constantly having to tell him, don't let it run out of ice. We got 40,000 people here that are thirsty. Fill it up as it goes. Nachos, keep 12 ready so that the runners can grab
So they're
them.
cold when I get them.
Yes, ma'am. So they just get them. And we try to keep them as hot as possible. And I had a lot of difficulty in doing that with Mr. Stevens because...
So fire him.
Well,
I mean, I don't want to hear that. If the guy worked, what, you think I'm not going to make you pay him for the days he worked?
we paid Mr. Stevens for every day that he did volunteer. The days that are in question are when we asked for a commitment to work, and he said that he would. If the person who volunteered does not show up, then I have to pay $75 for an outside contracting
What
company.
day did he not show up?
He worked a total of 15 days.
You got to answer my questions.
Okay.
What day did he not show
I
up?
would have to refer back to the information that you have there to show you, to be able to tell you what days and what
No,
homes.
that'll only tell me you didn't pay him.
Okay.
That doesn't prove he didn't show up. How are you going to prove he didn't show up?
What records do we have?
Yeah, come on up. Are you there all the time while this is going on?
We both are.
You both are there all the time while this is
Yes.
going on?
And it wasn't 12, 15 days. No, it would have been.
No,
only
he's suing for 26 days.
26 days. No, not at all. If we owed him anything, it would only be for 5 days. If you look at that paperwork, the receipts, it shows that he was paid out. The dates that would be in question would actually be the dates after that homestand. And
so that we know there's no further payment after July 10th. He says there's no further payment after June 18th.
That's correct. It would be the homestand from June 12th to June 17th is the last time he worked.
Okay, why is your partner talking about how he was a disappointment on the nacho station as opposed to he never worked again? What is your defense to his lawsuit?
Well, when he was volunteering, because he
when
wasn't...
physically was he volunteering? Let's do it that way.
I would say until June 17th.
So you're saying he never showed up again in July or August?
No.
Is that what you are saying?
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying
now
is...
I've tried to call it work. I've tried to call it volunteer. What do you want me to call it? See that physical body that's there? Was it ever near the nachos and the hot dogs?
Yes, the days that are in
On
question.
what days after June 17th or whatever date you keep talking about was his physical body near the nachos?
Let me pull up the calendar if that's
Sure.
okay, Your Honor.
Yeah, how do you keep track of who's there and who's not? Don't you have like a sign-in sheet or something? Or
Yes, ma'am.
Where's that? Do you have that?
I do not.
When they get to the stadium, volunteers get to the stadium, they have to check in.
How do they check in?
There's a sign-in list where they go. They have to sign their name and
With
what
their
time they
signatures.
arrive.
Okay, where's
Yes,
that
ma'am.
list?
We didn't.
You
Wasn't
don't
told to
keep
bring
it? What do you have them sign in for? This is exactly what they sign in for.
Your
You
Honor.
need to show me now the list to show me that he didn't sign in the days you say he didn't come. Because there's a dispute here. He's saying he worked July and August. That is the point of sign-in sheets. So do you toss them? What do you do with them?
No, ma'am. We're from Atlanta, and then Miss.
I don't know how that can possibly be an answer to what do you do with them.
If I can answer you.
No, it's not. What do you do with the sign-in sheets?
They are at the office on her computer.
They can't be. If I sign something, they're not on a computer. They're
The
physical.
printed copies. We make copies of everything.
So copies are in the computer and you throw out the original?
We don't get to keep the original.
Who do you give that
The
to?
original stay at the stadium. When they sign in with Delaware North.
Okay, so they sign in and the original goes with Delaware North.
Yes, ma'am.
And then a copy of it,
Mhm.
an actual copy where you can see the signatures,
Yes, ma'am.
just a second, is on her computer. All right, darling, look at me a second. Where is physically in Atlanta is your computer? Like, is it in your office? Is it in
It's
your
in
home?
my office.
Okay. Is there someone in the office?
No.
Is there someone who can go to the office?
No.
Well, how are you going to prove that he did or didn't work those days? That's a whole lawsuit.
Because
if I give you a chance,
I remember this, Judge.
Oh,
I remember.
I'm gonna trust your.
And I understand.
I'm sorry, but I mean, come on. I just met you 10 seconds ago.
And I understand that you're.
All right. So you have the evidence, but you didn't bring it because I'm just going to tell you because I remember. How's that going to go?
So if the employee is lousy, does the employer have to pay for the actual hours worked?
Unfortunately, he has to. That's the law.
Is that the law that you have to pay?
Yeah, I think because he should pay the employee and then he can fire the employee.
Okay, I know he can, and I know he can do that. But if the employee never did a good job, employer still has to pay.
I mean, work is work, so yeah, you have to pay him anyway.
Okay, fair enough. Going inside the courtroom.
Do you think I'm unreasonable asking to see the sign-in sheets?
Not at
because
all.
that's what the dispute's about.
I brought everything else but that.
Okay, no problem. All right, so according to you, which days did he work, and how is it you're going to tell me which days he works if you don't have
Because Kasim and I had a conversation in the stand. So I remember that specifically. I told you what your last payout was going to be. I think it was $250. We asked if he was going to, I think Mr. Bird had a conversation with him and asked him if he was going to commit to the next homestand. And he said he would. So once he didn't show up, again, Mr. Bird had to pay for him not being there, $75. And so that's how he feels as if he doesn't have to pay the back pay of what was already owed to him. He did work, I will say that. But it was not for 26 days. It was only for a week.
What day did he fail to appear that causes you to feel
I'm
that?
looking for the actual calendar for the Brave season because
I have that. Well, why? But why are you
because that
looking
would
for?
tell the last homestand that he worked after June.
No, it won't tell me their official roster won't tell me the last one he worked.
I would know that because, again...
Okay, so what are you looking for so that I can answer the questions for you? You're looking for the last home game after what date?
After June 17th.
Okay, so June 22nd against the Orioles.
Okay, on average, Mr. Stevens, he only worked maybe 3 to 5 games per homestand. So the 26 days that he's saying that he missed of work...
I don't know, you would have to show me those receipts. No, you got the receipts.
Okay, yes.
So show me...
It came out to a total.
Just a second, sir. Anytime you paid him in May?
The first payout was $100. That was 2 days.
Okay.
$240, which means that he was a little late.
What date was that?
That was for Wednesday, May 30th. That
Okay.
was for the homestand 515 to 520. $243.20 on June 18th. That was again 5 days that he worked. And then the $150.
What was the $150 for?
That was for 3 days. That was the last homestand from 6/12 to 6/17.
Do you have any affidavits from anybody to show that you were there in July and August?
I have text messages showing that I was there in July and August.
Can I see the text messages?
This is, all right, it's August 14th, this text message.
Okay. On August 14th, there's a text from him to you. I spoke with him twice. I still haven't gotten any information. Your response to him is payout should be sometime next week.
Okay.
If he didn't work in August or July, why is that your answer to him?
If it was, I just know that he did not, we do not owe him for 26 days. I do know that. And it was only for a week.
What you know is completely unimportant to me.
And I understand that.
I need to know what you can prove. You have the method to prove it, the sign-in sheets.
I didn't
and
think
you
to
didn't bring them.
I didn't think to bring them.
How did you figure out how did you figure out it was 26 games?
Because I kept notes of which games I worked and which games that I didn't.
Show me the notes.
Okay. I mean,
you guys do business in this way, and then you want some, perfect result. I want a perfect result. I don't want him to get paid more than he's owed, and I don't want him, to get paid less than he's owed. I want him to get paid for the days he showed.
May I, Your Honor?
If you want to go elsewhere, no. If you want to find a solution of what I just said, yes.
The answer, my question is, would that receipt book be indicative of the fact that we pay all of our volunteers a stipend? And it shows the dates that we pay them?
No, I see what you're saying, and that's a good point. Let me see the book again, but really the sign-in is the ultimate evidence. Right. Okay. So am I correct in understanding that you agreed that he physically showed up 5 other times?
Yes.
You feel I don't have to pay them because they signed this volunteer thing, but that's really vis-a-vis you and the stadium because we know you pay them. That's your agreement. We know that after July 10th, the next time you pay anybody is August 28th. And between July 10th and August 28th, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. There were 24 games that your employees worked that you didn't pay them for because you didn't pay anything between July 10th and August 28th. I'm looking at that from here. I know you didn't pay employees between July 10th and August 28th, but you had people working for you for 24 home games, right?
That might be in a different receipt book.
Oh, no, you don't.
Your Honor.
Nah.
Your,
Nah. No. When you come into court, your defense cannot be trust us. I find in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of $1,300.
Well, it looks like the plaintiff's going to finally get paid what he's seeking, $1,300. You needed better records here in court, you know?
Yes.
I mean, it's a shame you didn't bring the book with you so the judge could look at it.
Well, we
Sitting
brought
back in Atlanta, not doing any good in Atlanta right now.
We just brought those receipts and records that were specific to Mr. Stevens.
Yeah.
To bring everything would have been a lot of stuff to carry, but
well, unfortunately, that's the way it is in court. So I'm sorry, but he's going to have to get paid. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Stevens.
Hey, how you doing?
You feeling good now?
I'm feeling great. You know, all things done in the dark come to the light.
Okay. You said you like the atmosphere at the game. What's it like out there working there?
Oh man, you know, you're in the stadium, everybody's feeling good, and me and Mr. Bird, me and James, we were close and cool at first. We were supposed to go on a trip and everything.
Yeah.
Too bad things just went sour.
You didn't go around the stadium throwing out hot dogs or things like that. You just stayed in the nachos and the ice.
He's lying. I did more than the nachos. I did everything in there, train people, everything.
Okay, well, good for you. Well, congratulations. Glad you got paid. Okay.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Harvey?
Doug, I mean, you know what? These guys said it all, that the recourse an employer has is to fire the employee. But when an employee works, an employee has to get paid. And if the employee doesn't get paid, many states have a labor commission where you can go to them and they can sock an employer who doesn't pay what's due with additional penalties. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This episode is brought to you by Abercrombie. Build your fits of the day with Abercrombie's newest denim drop. Here's where to start. Abercrombie's 90s straight jean goes with any shirt from tees to sweater polos. Super versatile. Their loose and baggy jeans are more trend forward, so you can grab those and go out with your friends. Abercrombie's denim fits come in a range of washes. Build your looks around Abercrombie denim. Shop online or in store.
This is the plaintiff, Zuma Torres. She says she parked her car at the defendant's garage, and when she went to pick it up, all she saw was chaos. Everyone was frantically checking their cars out because there'd been a flood in the garage. When she saw her car, the inside was sopping wet. It wouldn't start because the wiring and computer were ruined by the water, and her car was deemed a total loss by her insurance. She's here suing the defendant because he was rude. He caused her a lot of pain and suffering, and she deserves $5,000 for her troubles. This is the defendant, Farad Gramapour. He says he rushed to the scene of the flood at his garage and moved 95 cars out of harm's way in just 20 minutes. He explained what happened to the plaintiff. He dried off her car, it started right up, and off she left, a happy camper. The plaintiff then decided she wanted a new car, and she somehow manipulated her insurance company to declare her car a total loss. Now she wants another $5,000 from him for an act of God? Good luck. He's accused of being all wet.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff parked in the defendant's garage. When she came back, the garage had flooded and her car got totaled, and she wants pain and suffering. The defendant says she's a scammer. It's the case of scammer. He hardly knew her.
Thank you, Douglas.
You will come in.
Suma Torres, you are suing Riverdale Fast Parking Corporation, represented here by Farad Gramapour.
Yes, ma'am.
For $5,000 in pain and suffering because your car got flooded while in their care. What happened?
So when I went to get my car, obtain my car,
You park your car there on a monthly basis?
On a monthly basis,
How long
yes.
has it been there?
For about over a year.
And this is where, in the Bronx?
In the Bronx, yes.
Okay, and is it a covered lot?
Yes.
Okay, where would you park your car? What floor?
First.
When this happened, were you parked on the first floor?
On the first floor, yes.
All right, and what happened?
So when I went to obtain my car, I saw all this chaos, all these people running back and forth. And when I went down to the first floor where my car, should have been at, the defendant stopped me and told me that there was a flood. So he escorted me to where my car was.
Okay, so you go to the second floor.
And I went to the second floor to see what the damage was. And when I went into my car, the back seat, everything, the carpet, everything was flooded. It was very, very wet. And,
okay, when you say the back seat was wet, are you referring to the carpets?
The carpets and the seat.
How high did that flood go?
I don't know.
What happened?
I'm going to explain right now.
If I'm looking at you and asking you the question,
Okay.
it's your turn to explain, yes.
Okay. That night was a flood. We had a heavy rain.
A flood caused by what?
By heavy rain.
Okay.
And the flood came through from 87 Major Diggin to my property.
Okay.
And it started at midnight. And I'm living 10 minutes away from the garage. So I get there in less than 15 minutes, and I saw the water is coming through all the windows through the first floor.
Okay, but hold on. It's coming through all the windows. Where are the windows? Try to understand that I've never been there.
Okay.
Neither has anyone else within the
Yes.
sound of my voice.
Yes, Your
So
Honor.
try to describe the scene for us.
Yes, Your Honor. This is a two-level car garage.
Okay.
The first level, it's underground.
There we go. So the
Okay.
first level's underground. Okay.
Okay. And the back of the property is 87 Major Diggin. That night there was a heavy rain, and the rain just comes through from the 87 Major Diggin to my property. I'm going to show you the video.
May I see the video? Did the windows bust? Did they break open from the pressure of the rain, or what?
No. It's 4 feet.
Well, I can't see. Can I see the windows here, or I can't? Well, it's a video. Let's see what I can see. Wow, look how high that water got. Woo!
But if you...
No, don't talk. I'm absorbing this. But anyway, so when you say the windows, there's no glass there, right?
No, there is not glass.
Okay. So you just mean the openings?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
As you see...
Who's driving that car?
One of my employees.
Is it driving all these cars out?
If you go to next video...
Yeah.
Please. Okay? And this is the upper level.
So that's you guys moving all the cars up to the upper level?
Exactly,
okay.
Your Honor.
Well, we know, though, so your car was really damaged.
Really damaged.
Right?
No, because I could actually hear the water under the car.
How do you hear water under the car?
Every time I would, speed and slow down.
You could hear swish, swish?
Yep.
I've heard that before.
And I said,
no, I mean, I've
something's
actually
wrong.
heard that before. Not I've heard it in court. I meant I've heard that before in my car. I once left a convertible open all night. There were fish in it, basically.
And every time after this, my car needed to be...
So the bottom line is, Geico, you asked Geico.
They told me that it was
total loss. And so your insurance company reimbursed you.
Right.
Right. Why are you suing him here today? Because when you decide you're going to sue somebody, you have to identify what it is they did wrong. There's no question bad stuff happened to you, but what did they do wrong?
So garage floods because of this massive flood and the drainage system. Is the garage responsible for her damage?
I think so. As a rentee, you expect a certain amount of...
You're the rentor, actually.
As the rentor, excuse me,
yeah.
you expect a certain amount of security and some
But
things.
it's kind of beyond his control, isn't it?
I mean, there's a reason they have renter's insurance. So, I mean, it's kind of...
So it's on the car owner?
It's on the car owner.
Okay, who's going to break the tie? What do you say?
I think if you are the owner, you are responsible for those things you have.
Owner of what? The garage or the car?
Of the garage.
So you think the garage is responsible?
Yeah, I think the garage is responsible.
Even if it was beyond the control of the garage, there was this massive flood?
Because he knows when he built the parking lot, the garage, he knows.
Dude, have you ever heard of Noah's Ark?
Oh, so Yeah, you have the point. So I think
we'll have a Bible study class after the show, but we got to go. Going inside the courtroom.
They didn't keep my automobile secure, even though I was still paying for a monthly basis to keep my car, you know.
Okay, but what do you mean by that? Because it's one thing if they have a pipe that bursts because of neglect, because they don't maintain things. It's quite another if God decides it's going to rain and the systems back up as they do. You know, how is that his fault? What did he do wrong?
Not keeping my car secure. I mean...
From what? From God? And what happened is your insurance company paid you fully. They gave you $13,000, called it a total loss. So what are you suing him for?
Pain
and suffering. What pain and suffering did he inflict upon you? Other than that he owns the parking lot and has a deep pocket, what possible thing did he do wrong?
He didn't keep my car safe.
Okay, verdict for the defendant.
Thank you.
Unbelievable.
All right, hold on, please.
Is it really unbelievable?
Yeah.
Is it really? I don't think it is.
It is.
So Judge Millian finds for the defendant in this case. Here's the plaintiff. What's your response now? How do you feel about it?
Very upset because at the end of the day, the one who doesn't have a car is me. And she didn't hear everything that I wanted to say. And
What didn't you say that you wanted the judge to hear?
I have multiple sclerosis, I have a disability, and this is the reason why I needed this car all the time.
Yeah, but you know that doesn't count in this situation. Plus, you got a new car.
Where I don't have a car.
Your insurance paid you.
Paid, financial. Honda
Well, the
Financial.
bottom line is
not me.
he didn't do anything wrong for you. Okay. Sorry about that. That's the judge's decision. Okay, you got to live with it.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry. Thank you. You're welcome. Here comes the defendant now. Were you concerned? Were you worried about losing this case?
No.
Did anybody else sue you?
Oh no. I mean, this wasn't my fault. This is a nature disaster, and I did what I could. I take all
You moved
95
cars in 20 minutes?
In 20 minutes.
How do you do that?
With my wife, 2 kids, 2 employees, and one of my friends, 6 of us.
Yeah.
So in less than 20 minutes, I took all the cars, and after that, I took care of the cars with the detail man and clean it and wash it and dry it and everything. And she came to me 2 days after that, and she told me, "That's very nice of you. You cleaned that car," and she drove out. Nothing.
Sorry she had to sue you, but congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Good
Thank you,
enough.
sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Interesting, Harvey. What do you think?
Okay, look, this is a contract case, and under the law, you can never get pain and suffering damages for breach of contract, ever.